Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Superhero Chronicles. And today, I'm going to be starting my journey through every single film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, kicking it off in chronological order with Captain America: The First Avenger. All right, let's get started. Um, I remember when I first saw this in 2011 when it first came out, and I liked it. I think I liked it a little more than the previous films that preceded it, which was Iron Man, Iron Man 2, Thor, and the Incredible Hulk. I just thought Captain America, and the reason why I like Captain America: The First Avenger maybe a little more is because I like I like the idea that it was a prequel and that it took place during the backdrop of World War II, and I happen to be a sucker for period piece movies because I like just seeing the recreations of like time periods past, like the 40s, and seeing that done in Captain America was just a plus for me because I enjoy that. I like that time period, especially in film. And I also think that it was really well done in the first Avenger. Like seeing the New York landscapes of the 40s and seeing the Stark Expo in a 40s setting. It just looked it, no no just gave you that look of you know in the 1940s setting. This was big important stuff, and I totally loved every minute of it. I enjoyed the hell out of it. So it was like so yeah, I love that aspect of the movie, and that it plays a huge part in why I like this one, why I like this of all the phase ones. But and I also, of course, to me, and I also think that the cast in Captain America is actually really really cool too. Chris Evans is Steve Rogers Captain America. I was critical when they was casted because really you getting Human Torch as Captain America? No, he's gonna be all like comedic and funny, and Captain America is not comedic and funny. And then when I saw the movie, I was like, oh, son of a bitch, Chris Evans can act. Who knew? The guy can pull off drama, and he can actually do comedy that's actually like funny and not ridiculous, like the stuff from not another teen movies. Chris Evans to me was a big highlight in this movie and a revelation because the guy's a very talented actor, and I thought he was great as Steve Rogers, and Chris Evans' performance as Captain America, has converted me into a Captain America fan, and pretty much when it comes to the MCU, Captain America is pretty much my favorite character of the MCU because Evans' performance gives him so much depth, and I just love the way he handles the character. And I love his take on the character. He brings the right amount of seriousness to it, but he also brings that right amount of naivety to it, which I love, and which is what the movie has. When we first see Chris Evans, he's all like skinny and looks emaciated, kind of looks like Christian Bale in The Machinist. But that was all done through like a digital effect, and the special effects in this movie, for the most part, are done fairly well. Well, there are some instances where it just looks, yeah, it's kind of fake. But to me, the movie is so well directed. Of course, this movie is directed by Joe Johnston, who has directed films such as Jumanji and Jurassic Park 3. He's also worked with Steven Spielberg for a very long time. So Joe Johnston's a journeyman director, but he also has name recognition, and he can get the job done. And he can put out a solid quality film, and I think he did that with the first Avenger. So anyway, yeah, the special effects for the most part done fairly well. Instances where they're just a little bit shaky, but overall does not take away from the enjoyment of the film. And like I said, Chris Evans to me is one of the best parts of this film. The other good part of this film is Hugo Weaving as the Red Skull. I just loved Hugo Weaving as the Red. I love Hugo Weaving as the Red Skull. He's just so theatrical, and he's so just has this over the top quality to him. But Hugo Weaving also brings just the right amount of menace to him, also, without going too over the top, I should say. And I love the whole look of the Red Skull. Use the real latex mask and did a lot of real prosthetics to Hugo's face, and threw in a little CGI there just to streamline it a little more. But the whole look of the Red Skull in this movie looks awesome. Love it. And I love Hugo Weaving's portrayal of the Red Skull too. And I also like the fact that they took the Darth Vader approach to the Red Skull, whereas like he's not in every single scene, and the movie, and the movie wants you to want to see more of him by not showing him too much, which I think is great. A+ when it comes to the Red Skull. Hugo Weaving was amazing, and of course, I would love for him to come back as Red Skull. But he has said in the past that while he enjoyed making Captain America, these are not his kind of movies, and he doesn't see himself coming back. But I hope he can change his mind because I think Red Skull deserves to come back as a major focus to take on the entire Avengers team. And then we get other characters. We get I forgot the guy's name who played Armanzola. I can't remember the guy's name. Toby something. He was pretty good as the timid henchman, the timid right hand man / henchman / scientist for Red Skull. He was good in his part. Tommy Lee Jones plays plays a general, and he's always good. And he has a lot of funny, memorable lines. And one of my favorite lines is near the end of the movie. Tommy Lee Jones and Peggy Carter, played by Haley Atwell, and Captain America are in the Red Skull's car trying to catch up to him, and Captain America and Peggy have like a kiss, and then he looks at Tommy Lee Jones, and Tommy Lee Jones is just like, "I'm not kissing you." Every time I hear that line, it's hilarious. And it has that Tommy Lee Jones dry humor, which I love. So yeah, like I said, this movie has a lot of good humorous parts to it, but it's not like over the top stupid humor. It's actually like legitimately funny, in the moment, plays off the scene that's happening kind of humor, which is great. And of course, and the movie also has some pretty cool action set pieces. There's the how can I there's the train sequence, which was cool. There's the whole scene where Captain America is trying to save troops from who are captured on the Red Skull's compound, and he's trying to get them all out to safety. And of course, one of the prisoners that's there is his best friend Bucky Barnes, who is established early on in the film as being Steve's very very best friend. And of course, when he finds out that he's been captured, he pretty much goes on a one-man mission to try and save him. But he also has the help of Peggy Carter and Howard Stark, who is also in the film and played by Dominic Cooper. And I like Cooper's performance as the young Howard Stark. I thought he did a really good job, and he does channel Robert Downey Jr. a little bit, which I thought was pretty cool too, and also very consistent because Tony Stark got his personality in a way from his father Howard. So I like how that was done. So yeah, and of course there's the whole third act action set piece, which is not bad. It's okay. It's enjoyable for the most part. Of course, I do have some criticisms with this movie. The whole love relationship between Peggy and Rod and Steve could have been done a whole lot better than it really was. I think it was really rushed, and in certain spots very superficial and cliched. But nothing to oh, there you put this in there. So it could have been done it could have been written more better than what it was. I really would have liked to have seen more scenes with Steve and Bucky and have their relationship get more established so I can buy them more as best friends, because they don't really share a whole lot of screen time together, and pretty much like maybe a couple of scenes after Bucky is saved from the compound, he pretty much dies falling off the train. So that could have used more work. So, but again, it doesn't take away from my overall enjoyment of the film. So, overall enjoyment of the film, solid 8.5 out of 10. I really, really do like this movie. Actually, you know what? I think 8.5 is a little too high. I'm going to give it a solid 8 out of 10 because those two things I do have problems with, it does take away from the movie. In a lot of ways, because you need those things in order to flesh it out a little better, in my view. But I think 8 out of 10 is a very good, appropriate, solid grade. So in terms of like as its own thing, solid 8 out of 10. Now, since this movie is called The First Avenger, this pretty much lays the groundwork for the entire Phase 1 saga and the Avengers as a whole. And of course, it introduces a lot of characters and plot points that will come into play in future films. Like it establishes the character of Bucky Barnes. It establishes the Tesseract. It establishes that the Tesseract is connected to Odin, which is in itself also connected to Asgard, since Odin is the king of Asgard. So, and of course, obviously Howard Stark and him being the inventor and everything that ties into Iron Man. So, in terms of like laying the groundwork for the entire MCU as a whole, I give it a solid 9 out of 10 for putting all the key points in there. Also, before I forget, it also establishes the Incredible Hulk with the super soldier serum. Sorry, with the super soldier serum, it establishes the Incredible Hulk with that also. So again, like this movie needed to get all the points right in order, because this is the groundwork. Like if this movie did not work, the entire MCU would not have worked. So pretty much, Captain America: The First Avenger had a lot to live up to, and in my view, it did it all in a very satisfactory way. So once again, as an overall movie, solid 8 out of 10. The things I liked about it, I like. Things I didn't like about it did not bother me. I still found a way to have that not affect my overall enjoyment of the film, because I do think this is the better movie, one of the better movies of the Phase 1 era. And of course, as in terms of laying groundwork and foundation for the rest for the films to precede it, it did a solid job at setting up those plot points and characters fairly well. Well, that is my take on Captain America: The First Avenger. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you again next time.